Hello team, Dor here from the Pachamama Festival in Switzerland. And I'm here to share with you today why feedback is such a valuable instrument in next culture work. And I just been in a feedback meeting with my team and I got so much gold out of it. Gold meaning so much great things that I didn't notice about how I do things. And I'm very liquid, which means my box, the box that I had about what I know, about how do I know to do things already, my opinions, beliefs, how I think I should be, how I think I should hold space, it got to melt when I got this feedback. And now, just like a butterfly needs to melt, I don't know if you know, but the cocoon, inside the cocoon, the butterfly is liquid. And then it builds itself again and becomes a butterfly. So just like that, my box could melt and I can become now someone else, a different kind of space holder, a different kind of whatever thing that I got feedback on. So this is really the gold about getting feedback. In modern culture, in the culture we grew up in the West and most of the East, we didn't really get the culture of giving each other feedback because we used to get hooked like a fish on a rod when someone shared with us. And of course, they usually didn't share that in a responsible way in a container. It was just probably unconscious feedback coming from their probably irresponsible part, coming as prosecuting me or prosecuting someone like I'm okay, you're not okay, I get rid of you. So in modern culture, we got this unconscious feedback. So we probably in some way develop a lot of strategies around not getting feedback, or just like the context of our groups, of our game worlds, are ones of not giving each other feedback. Or there is a little bit of feedback, like I see this sometimes in communities when they sit together in a circle, but it's not like really, the feedback is not really like, so in next culture, feedback is about revealing to you your next steps on the map. So your X on the map is here, and there's something there that you're not seeing. There's some way for you to get to where you want to get, which is clear because you're in next culture, you're declaring what's your purpose. And there's something you're not seeing, and your team can give you feedback to find that next step, to share with you what you're not seeing, and even give you coaching, which means giving you experiments on possibilities on how to get there. So this is like next culture feedback and work. I'll give you a look around. And from that kind of feedback, you can grow. And really, if you don't get feedback, like people tell me they're facilitators or they hold space and they're not getting feedback from their team, what I hear on my side that it's what their work is a bit limited to what they know already, to their box. They're tying their spaces to their box. And if you can get feedback regularly with your team, like even after every space, hopefully you're not holding the spaces alone. Like I get to hold sometimes alone, but it's still I have my team with me in that, even though they're not physically there. And if you're not doing this, your space is a bit limited to your box, to what you think is possible. And this is maybe like a bit of a next culture kind conversation about space holding, how to hold spaces in X culture. But if you're relating even to someone, some kind of a partner, why don't you create container for feedback? And I'll share how to do it right now. You say, you give me feedback for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. What worked for you? What doesn't work for you? And maybe how you feel about it. And then I'm just gonna shut my mouth for 10 minutes. After that 10 minutes, I'm gonna share back how it landed in me and what I feel, and if I need clarification or anything else, any questions. And then the other person goes again for another 2-3 minutes, whatever, 5 minutes, clarifying, sharing what else is needed. So this is how to give feedback in X culture. And again, it's about what worked for me. It's not, it's not you're doing this because I believe my story about you is true. I don't believe my story about you is true. It's just a story. It's just what I feel, and that's my story. And that story might be valuable for you, but it's not the truth. Like I keep hearing this word truth everywhere, like there is some kind of a unified truth for everyone. No, everyone have their own reality. The truth conversation comes from like Buddhism or like all these paradoxical reality perceptions. But really, I just give you feedback only if you ask for feedback because you want growth. If someone gonna ask me for feedback, I would ask, what's your purpose? What's your purpose about asking feedback? I want feedback to grow, so I can be a better space holder, or I can be a better team member, or I can be better in relating with you in our relationship, in relating with you. That's a good point to give feedback. And there was another thing about, okay, so you're relating to someone, you're asking for feedback, the way they share the feedback, they don't believe their own story. What's the purpose of feedback is growth. If you're the culture of giving feedback as part of being in a X culture team, that's another conversation. And so how do I give feedback, for example, is like, so it really worked for me when you were so vulnerable in the space. And it really worked for me, the stand that you're taking in the world, that you really care about holding these kind of spaces for men and women to feel their feelings. And then what didn't work for me is that when you're held in space, you didn't raise your anger enough. So you're not centered. That's my story, at least. You're not centered enough. And also it didn't work for me that you kind of disappeared energetically from the space, or you made the whole space about you. And also what worked for me is that you were very present and you kept the small now in the space. And also what worked for me is that it's such a joy to be around you and relating with you. So you share like that, what worked for you, what didn't work for you, what worked for you. And so you share this feedback, this sandwich feedback, what worked for you, what didn't work, then what worked again. And if it's a space for experiments, then you can add experiments, or you can give coaching in the end if it's the same kind of space. Or you can ask, is that the space that I'm holding also? And then how do you take feedback as an X culture adult, responsible adult? How do you take feedback? Do you just take it to your heart? No, you don't take it to your heart. What you do with the feedback is first of all, you're centered, grounded, and bubble. So if you don't know about the centering process yet, find a video about it and watch it, or join one of the trainings to learn how to center yourself. But also, you center yourself, you ground yourself, and then you create this space here. This energetic space here, and you get the feedback here. So it doesn't go here to your heart, it goes here. And then you get this container for the feedback, and you get all the feedback here. and then you decide what to do with it. And while you gather the feedback that people give you here, you also sense into it. You're in relation to this container. It's not like throwing the feedback into the void. It's not what you do. It's just you getting the feedback here and you start relating it and you sense into it and you feel it. So you do feel the feedback. You let the feedback get into you, but you don't get hooked by the feedback. You don't believe that this is real or this is the truth. You just get the feedback here and you relate to the feedback here, and you decide what to take and what to put inside, what you want to work with, what you want to improve. You let that touch you and you feel like the sadness, the anger, the fear, the joy about the things that you were told, and you can relate with them, and that can change you. That's how you grow. This is transformation. So without feedback, there's no transformation work. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have questions, let me know. You can subscribe to my channel if you want, and you can join our trainings. You can find more information below. See you soon. Thank you for watching. Thank you for asking for feedback. Ciao.
Quick on the drum.